I mean, at some point, it'll, it'll definitely be, both of us in the playoffs. May happen this year. I mean, they're right there. Maybe not, we'll see, but it's coming soon. And as far as a rivalry, man, they're talented. So I think rivalry, no disrespect to them, but the other team got to win some games before it can really be a rivalry.
Big facts.
Draymond. They got to win for it to be right. Okay. Welcome back to The Jump. I'm Rachel Nichols here with Brian Windhorst, the Hall of Famer, Mr. Scottie Pippen. And look, Draymond Green, give him a little credit.
A little taste.
Maybe a little taste of almost credit. The Kings did give a game last night, right, at Oracle Arena. KD scored 28, Steph poured in 36, but Buddy Hield and the Kings, they kept coming. And after the game, even KD sort of give them a little room, said they should be reckoned with soon. Just 12 points, so they have 4 games against them.
KD to the Kings?
KD is not going to the Sacramento Kings. Just stop. This is what Kyrie Irving is
We're just
upset
having
about.
fun. It's Friday.
Head to head, even though the Warriors have won all 4 games, if you look at that, right, just 12-point spread over those 4 games. It's one of the slimmest margins in a regular game season sweep ever in the NBA. The Kings are currently 9th out west. So if this ends up being the first round playoff series, do we just say sweep, we write it in, or do you think this could be 5 games, maybe
I think
6
this could
games?
be a fun series.
Right?
I think the Sacramento Kings are building some momentum. They're building confidence. And for some reason, these young teams, the Milwaukee Bucks, the Sacramento Kings, the Golden State Warriors are having trouble with those teams. So I don't see this as a rivalry yet, but they got to be looking at this team in their rearview mirror. You
know what's hard, Rach? It's hard to beat the Warriors in the regular season. You know what's harder? I mean,
was it Draymond who said there's 82-game teams and there's 16-game teams and we're a 16-game team?
They're actually both, to be honest with you. I respect what the Kings are doing. I was one of the people that thought they wouldn't win 20 games this year. I didn't like almost any of their moves, and they've been awesome. And they've got 4 or 5 really exciting young players. And I am really happy that they're playing more, but they're not in the Warriors league yet. I would love to see a competitive first-round series, but and it just shows you they're just good enough to lose to them. I mean, I don't want to be mean, but that's just true. They're just good enough to lose to them close.
I just see this as a young team that don't know how to win yet. Yeah. They are closing the gap on the Warriors. They're a youth, their athleticism. They're just building confidence.
But it's a big gap, Scotty. They're closing it, but it's a big gap.
Well, it is a big gap in terms of what the Warriors have accomplished and what they have to do in terms of playoff. But I've been in this situation before, and you don't like running up against a young team that's very unpredictable, and that's what the Sacramento.
But you always beat them.
Interesting.
But you always beat those young teams.
Struggle with a few of them.
Look,
you didn't struggle that much.
It would not be.
I grew up in Cleveland. I saw.
You saw that the struggles was not that real. Look, it would not be our continuing series as the Kings turn without a little drama. And one of our lead heroes in the Sacramento Kings world these days is Buddy Hield. We showed you earlier. He passed up that potential game-winning three-pointer, just over 6 seconds left. He chose to drive. He ended up missing, right? And look, here's Hield after the game. He's going to explain his part of it. Then we'll talk about Dave Yeager.
Yeah, I should have pulled that. I should have pulled it. But I should have pulled it. No excuse.
Okay, I'm going to make a little excuse for him, okay? And we showed the highlights earlier in the show. He made a deep three, and his coach got upset with him. He made a second three from the corner, and his coach got upset with him. This was
Which
all
was wide open. Wasn't the one in the corner wide open?
So that's the first one, right? And then the second, they're arguing about it, and he's like, I made the shot, though.
Doug Christie's like, what are we talking about?
I made the shot, right? So, yeah, I get it, right? That makes this.
That first one was not a good shot.
KD, by the way, is like, why is your coach yelling at you?
It's always a good shot if you make it.
Thank you very much, Scottie Pippen.
A good shot.
KD is sitting there, and he can't believe it. Then he makes the shot in the corner. And again, they get into it with his head coach. So, yes, by the way, when he says, I should have pulled up, I don't know what came over me. I know what came over him. What came over him is he just got yelled at twice. So, yes, he's going to freeze up and try to drive when he shouldn't.
Scottie just referenced that they're young and they don't necessarily.
They don't know. I mean, and maybe it was bad judgment, but if it go in, it's still a good shot. Yeah. And in the situation where he didn't take the shot, it it's just he's young. He's going through those growing pains. And secondly, he's letting the coach dictate how he play. And as a player mature, the coach is not going to be able to dictate which shot he's going to take on a game winner or whatever. He's going to make those decisions on his own.
Well, imagine if Steve Kerr got upset with, Steph Curry when he took a slightly contested 30-footer. We never would have had this far. So I think, Buddy Hield is super talented. He's a big shot maker. He hasn't really played in this type of game in the NBA.
Before.
Really, he's never played in a game like this in the NBA. But he's done it in college. I know he can be a big shot maker. So maybe Jaeger has to learn how to use this group too.
Steve Kerr has joked that he has found himself clapping on the bench saying, good shot, good shot. And then he looks at the film later and he's like, I am a coach of basketball clapping that someone 40 feet from the basket and I'm saying good shot, but it goes in, to your point. And by the way,
judgment. Good
shot. Right. Dave Jaeger has done a fantastic job with that team.
Coach of the year
He's a good coach. He's had great relationships with a lot of players. So I don't know what was going on there. I would not use that to paint a broader brush of Dave Jaeger. But in this case, it seems like he got into his own player's head. And that is a shame, right?
Well, live and learn, I guess.
Don't want that. I want to get to New Orleans, where got all kinds of conflict between players. And okay. Interim Pelicans GM Danny Ferry met with Anthony Davis this week, told him the team will continue playing him, but at reduced minutes. Ferry said the team will abide by league rules that require teams to not rest stars that are healthy, adding, quote, league rules made it clear Anthony has to play. As we've done previously, we will continue to follow their lead, but also be focused on the future of the team. Brian, I've seen a lot of people kind of get confused who's on which side here. So I think it's important to just restate that if Anthony Davis didn't want to play, everybody on the Pelicans would be happy to have him go home. So I've heard some criticism from other people and ex-players saying he signed a contract, he's got to play. He's the one who's forcing the issue here. He wants to play. It's the Pelicans, right, who said, well, we don't want you to play. We'd like to improve our draft position. Right. We don't want you to get hurt because if you do, that ruins our trade asset. It's the NBA who came in over the top, and as you reported, Brian, said find what?
Up to 100,000. Obviously, it could be less than that, but up to 100,000. And my guess is the first fine would have been 100, but whatever, up to 100,000, and that would have really added up. And I talked to both sides about this, not the NBA, the Davis side and the Pelicans side. And I think what they're looking for going forward here is a consistent plan, what we're going to do game to game to game. Because Anthony Davis came back from the trade demand, and he played 34 minutes in the first game.
Right.
Next game he played like 20. And so I think they're going to say, this is what we're going to do. Also, I want to point out that Danny Ferry said that Drew Holiday is also going to have reduced minutes.
Yes, because Drew Holiday is a good basketball player that could help them win basketball games.
That's true. That was not said. But Drew Holiday will have reduced minutes too. An advantage right off the bat, Lakers. Next game for the Lakers is at the Pelicans on the second night of a back-to-back. And, that loss potentially could help the Pelicans' draft position.
Hey, the Pelicans want to do anything and everything they can do to avoid winning games. So I think it's very smart to pull these players back, but also know that these are the players that are going to fill the stands up for you. So it's tough, but I think for the Pelicans, they're looking down the road. They want to try to win next year. Hopefully they can convince Anthony Davis to stick around and maybe, give him that opportunity to win there next season. But I think it's a good move for them because they need players through the draft. They're not going to get them through free.
You are more positive and willing to believe in the goodness of man than I am because I think that ship has sailed, but I like the way you think about it.
It'll be as little as 20 minutes a game, though. So they're playing the Lakers. It's close on Saturday. Anthony, you've got 21 minutes. Come out.
Well, let's just hope no one gets hurt. That's what these situations sometimes lead to, so that's the most important thing. Coming up, our Steven Jackson. Well, he was talking up in the Bay last night. He said he doesn't think a lot of younger players have the same love of the game that his generation did, and that they're spoiled. We will discuss that next. First, though, here's what The Jump recommends for today. Zach Lowe, 10 things he doesn't like, including how Joel Embiid is inflicting devastation on the league with his chase down blocks. Take a listen to Mr. Lowe.
I'm Zach Lowe, and here's what I like and don't like this week around the NBA. I like Joel Embiid, the chase down king. Hypothesis: is Embiid the greatest chase down block center ever? Maybe since Bill Russell? David Robinson was nimble and fast enough to earn a place in this discussion too. But, I mean, look at this violence.
What a great block by Joel Embiid.
That is nonsense. Those kinds of plays have a psychic value that can be hard to quantify. They also scare me, given Embiid's injury history, including knee soreness that will keep him out of the lineup at least another week. The most fundamental argument against the trade Ben Simmons for 3-and-D guys crowd is that doing so now would amount to betting the entire franchise on Embiid's continued health. It's far too early, and Simmons is far too good for Philly to go there.